What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Might be a little bit of background noise because I do have a heater blowing in here today, and it is extremely cold outside. It was 19 degrees this morning, so I do need a heater in here while I'm doing this, and there's no heater in this building. But what we're doing today is we're going to be doing upper control arms on the rear of this Chrysler Sebring. I can't remember, I think it's like a 05, 06, 07, somewhere around in there. But I already have some stuff taken off on the passenger side. I'm going to show you what I have to do on the driver's side. I just want to make sure I get the right tools. So for starters, you're going to have to pull brake caliper off. To do that, there's two 10 millimeters right here and there. Then you'll have a 10 millimeter right there attaches to your strut. Then what we're going to have to do is, once we pull that up, hang it somewhere where it's out of the way, maybe like, you know, somewhere that you can. I'll probably try to hang it off of the actual spring because we're not going to take the strut out completely. But you do have to lower the complete rear sub-assembly on this, just because the bolts for the upper control arms are behind here, which is not a smart idea in my opinion. So we'll have to do that, but we'll have to take this bottom bolt right here off. The nut is on this side and then the bolt head is on the opposite side. We'll have to take that cross shaft bolt out. That is a 15. The brake caliper has to come off. If it has ABS sensors, take those off. We're not going to drop it out completely, so I'm not going to disconnect the actual e-brake cable, because we should be able to snake it out around the strut right here if we just lower it down a little bit. So, but we do have to take all that off, and then we'll have to take this control arm on the bottom right here off. It's like a sport arm, strut arm, something like that. And then on the passenger side, we do have to take the exhaust off, but I'm going to probably set you off a little bit so I can talk to you as I'm doing this. Like I said, again, I'm sorry about the background noise of the heater. I may turn it off here in just a minute because it is pretty warm in here right now, and trying to conserve the propane. As I was saying earlier, we're going to take these two tins right here off. They hold your caliper on. Come out pretty easy. Those are your bolts. Set them where we can still get access to them and we don't lose them. Then there's a bolt over here. Make sure y'all can see that. Yeah, you can kind of see my hand. And that attaches the brake line to the strut. It's kind of like a self-tapping screw. You have to push it and bring it off. Now that we have that, let me go grab something to hang this caliper up with, because I'm kind of hanging off the back over here. I have to pry this out more than likely. I know on these they get a little tight. Let's set it up until I get my cable. Gotta put it through where the bolt went. Come on. Stiff wire should be just a little bit more flexible. Just something to hold it out of the way. This is a 15 right here on the bottom. Make sure y'all can see that. Yeah, that is a 15. Just so y'all know, the other side was extremely tight. Oh, God, yeah. This one's tight too. Now we can use our 3/8. Once you get it threaded enough to get the nut and the bracket off the back, you're gonna have to pry up on the strut to get it to slide out as far as you can. And then we will get the bolt to come the rest of the way out. Right. About at that point, slide something in the back, pry up on it. And now we'll have to lift up on it to get it the rest of the way out, and then we'll thread it. I know I don't need this long extension, but it's just already on there, and I'd already started it. To be honest, I might go back in the other way whenever I put this on. That's what your bolt and nut looks like. It's got that little bracket on there to kind of lock it in so you can torque it, and it holds it. And probably slide this out of the way. There we go. Let's see, we got movement now. Now we're going to take this torque strut support off, and the way we're going to do that is there is a nut on this side, and I think there's a nut on this side. Yeah. Well, actually, there's 4 bolts over here. We don't have to take it out. There's just 4 bolts. Let me show it to you. I didn't even see that. So I think you can take these 4 bolts out, and they look like they're 15s as well. Actually a little bit smaller. So we're going to take those out instead, and then it will come down with the subframe. And we got to take a lot of the got it come out country. Got to take a lot of the exhaust off over there too. So I'm on the passenger side. We got this torque strut arm down, and we got the exhaust down. Show y'all where all these hangers are. So right there is where the front hanger is, right there, and that is right here. It is probably about the center of your rotor right here. Then you're going to have one on the rear also, and there's 2 13mm up in here, right there. One is attached to a ground cable. And just to be warned, whenever you do this exhaust is going to fall down, so make sure you have something to sit it on, and it's going to fall down all the way up to the front. Now, just to make things easier on me, I may even remove that exhaust clamp and just pull the whole system off, just for things to be simpler, because I'm going to have to lift this up a little bit more anyway. I know most of y'all probably won't have a lift if you're trying to do this at home, but I do have a lift, so I'm going to utilize it. But all I'm going to say is, if you're on the ground, I would say take it off as well if you could, just so it gives you more access to stuff, and then you can get your jack in here and put it underneath there. Now, if you do have wheel speed sensors, make sure you remove them before you do anything further, because it will put tension on them. Now, after I take this off, I am going to start removing the bolts that hold the whole assembly on, and once we get that off, we can lower it down and I can get to the bolts that are on top of the control arm. While I got you here, I can go ahead and show you the new ones, kind of show you all what they look like. is what they look like. Kind of a weird design. Got a lot of bends in it, and then even this right here has a lot of bends in it. But that's what it looks like. Your bolts go through here, and then you got a big nut right there on the front that you're gonna have to take off. Before I actually take that off, I might even loosen these nuts on the control arms, just because I want to get to them a lot easier. And that'll make things better on me to do that. So let me go ahead and do that. Let me break that loose. I got to find out what size it is. We got them loose. As you can see, it's up away from it. That is a 21 millimeter, and it wasn't tight at all. I actually used my 3/8 ratchet right there with 21 millimeter on there, and it broke it loose. I don't know what the torque is, but I would think it'd been more than that, because I barely even pulled on it. You can see I got this one up a lot further. Getting it out was harder than getting the nuts off, so I just used a hammer and something blunt just to hit it up against, and it popped right out after probably, I'd say 5 or 6 hits, and they just popped right out. And you see it's got some movement in there. So got the exhaust off too. If you go to take it off, that is a 15, and then you just use a hammer, and I just tapped right here up against the front of here and popped it out. There is like a little notch right here. I don't know how well y'all can see that. That little notch does make it go in one way only, and then you can tighten it back down. So that's nice that they did that for us. But I'm about to raise it up some so we can actually get it up high enough I can put my transmission jack underneath there, and we can lower this down enough to get to everything. Like I said, I'm just going to lower it down enough just to get my ratchet in here and to pull this off, and then we can lift it out of here and around the actual strut. Got her down on the locks. Now I'm just going to put my transmission jack underneath here. I'm going to move this out of the way first, but put my transmission jack underneath here just to hold it, and then we should have 2 bolts up in here. I think there's just 2 on each side, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's all the bolts we have. It's just those 2. I'm looking to make sure, but that looks like all of them. And the honest animals look like they are 15 millimeters. They are 15 millimeters. So I will use my impact to get those off, but let me move all this stuff out of the way, and then once I get the jack underneath here and I start lowering it down, I'll bring it back. Got the jack underneath there, and now I've got the 2 bolts out on the driver's side. I just got to take them out on the passenger side. They're 15s. That's what they look like. Oh, that's your nut to your control arm. Now, we got one more. Alright, when you take this one out, be careful. See how I kind of stepped it out? Because I wasn't sure which way it was going to roll, because I know my jack isn't exactly level underneath there. Now on top of this there is a brake line. I'm going to have to try to get it out of the little bracket pieces. Let me grab a screwdriver. Brake line is free, and we'll slowly lower this down a little bit. Tilt it a bit. Let's see what's holding it on this side is the actual strut. I got it kind of tilted down and she's on there. She ain't going nowhere. I got shaking it, but these are 18 millimeters and they are probably going to be pretty tight, so I may need to use my big long breaker bar and we'll see. But it's going to be kind of hard for me to show you this, but it's just these two right here. Once you break those two off, you should be able to lift them up, pull them out, and get them around the strut right here. Once I break these loose and go to take them out, I will show it to you. Found out why I was tilting, didn't think about it before. These torque arms right here, they were actually weighing it down on the front, so I just kind of put, let me straighten it up a little bit actually. There we go. Barely on there, but I put this right here. I didn't have a board long enough, so they had this laying in the corner, which was perfect. But use that, put a screw jack underneath there just to hold it up. We did take the bolts out. You can see it's all loose. And I don't know how I'm gonna set y'all up to kind of show y'all this. I know the sun is right in your eyes right there, but that's about the best spot I can put y'all. I'm gonna show y'all how I'm gonna get these out. I already got the passenger side one out just to make sure we could do it that way, but this is how we're gonna do it. See how it moves? I'll pull that out, and you're gonna have to pull it around the brake hose, which ain't a big deal. And you should be able to get it through here. And there we go. Now the new one does come with new bolts. And the Loctite is already on the new bolts as well. Right here. That's what they look like. They come with new bolts. That is nice. Now these are side specific. They'll get you the part number here in just a minute. That is our new nylon lock nut for the ball joint. I'm just going to get these started. I don't know if these are the same size or not. Let's find out. Hoping they are. Yes, they are 18s. So what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and start putting both of them in, and before I torque them down, I'll bring y'all back, show you the torque specs, but let me show y'all the part numbers to what side is which. Oh, also on these, the driver's side has this little adapter piece right there. Now on the factory one, it was flipped around where the indentation went against it, but if we did that, it would actually hit that right there. So I'm going to leave that way, and don't forget that you have to put your Zerk fitting in right there. And this is a precision part, so normally, yeah, we're kind of like Moog. Normally they're not self-tappers, are already threaded, so you don't have to worry about trying to get that in and it going in crooked. Where like I know some of the Master Pro and some of the cheaper ones, they're self-tapping Zerk fittings, so they screw in, and I don't like that too because it can get metal chips down inside of the grease. But as I said, you can see it right there how the factory one is like that. where the other one isn't. And you can always tell which side is which by this little tab right here. That is for the wheel speed sensor if yours has them. This right here will be on the front of whichever side it is. So if we try to put this on passenger side, this would actually be in the back, and you know that that would be the wrong one. Here is the driver's side for the Precision. Is 4CB25199, and then here is the one for the passenger side. I don't have it on yet. 4CB25204. And you can see that they look the same, about the same shape and all that. It's just that that one's got a Zerk fitting, the factory don't, and then the new bolts. But before I torque these down, I will bring y'all back. Also, word of the wise, these do have Loctite on them. They use the orange from the factory, and they are a little tight getting them off. So just be aware of that. Got the control arms in there now. The bolts, they torque to 90 foot-pounds. It is a little tight getting in there, but you can, if you got a flex head torque wrench, it'd be easier to do, but should still be good enough to get in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and start lifting it up and put it back in place so we can put these bolts back in there, and I will reposition this once we get everything back up and I got the subframe on. Don't know if I'll show you putting it up in here just because I'll have to do a lot of moving. I don't want to waste up any more time than we have to, but whenever I get ready to torque these down, I will bring y'all back. Got the bolts in. I've already torqued 3 of them, and on the last one they torque to 80 foot-pounds. I'm going to 85 just because I do have about, looks like probably about 12 inches of extensions on here. Alright. Now all we got to do is just start putting everything back in. I'm going to go and just go through all of it, start putting everything back on. I'll let y'all know what torque specs are on the ball joint, the strut connector, the torque arm right here, and then the brakes. Got everything back together. I'm gonna go over some torque specs with you before I close out the video. So your strut cross bolt goes down right there. That is 70. Your subframe bolts, the 4 of them that hold it in, those right there are 80 foot-pounds. Your nut for your ball joint, that is 65. Caliper bolts, those are 32. The 4 for your little torque strut arm, what I'm calling it, is those 4 right there on each side, that is 35. And I think that is it on the torque specs. The exhaust back here, these 2, that's your hanger. I just tighten them by hand, didn't do any torque spec on that. It's just a hanger, and then the band clamp right here for your exhaust. That is, use my impact, not impact, but impact, and ran it in a little bit, and then just kind of snugged it down, make sure it was tight. I did have somebody help me put that in just because it was a little awkward getting it up there. Here is our old stuff. I mean, you can see how loose that ball joint is. The rubber on here is starting to squeak real bad too. But looks like we got it all on. I got the tire on this side. I haven't torqued the tire down yet. Oh, also the little holders for the e-brake and that I just hand tightened as well. Didn't really torque those down, but I think that is everything. Tires I torque to 85 foot-pounds, I believe. It's either 80 or 85. I'll probably go to 85 just to be safe, and I'll look it up again and I'll put it in the description below, but I'm thinking it was 80 to be honest. But that should be it. If y'all got any questions, comment, concerns, let me know in the comment section. I'll get to them as soon as I can. Even criticisms, let me know if there was something on here you didn't like, or if I got a torque spec or something wrong, let me know, because I got all this off ProDemand, the Snap-on program. It didn't come from factory specs, I guess you can say. So I did get all this torque specs, like I said, off of ProDemand. So if it says that it's wrong, then ProDemand was wrong. And that's just what I go off of. But like I said, I got the Instagram, Patreon, shirts, hats, stickers, all that stuff. Once we hit 5,000, I will be giving away a shirt, a hat, and some stickers for everybody. So I'll let, whenever we get closer to that, we'll talk more about it. But I'm at about 3,700 now. We got about 1,300 to go. And I do appreciate all the likes, subscribes, and the notification bell clicks and all that stuff. If you didn't like this video, I got plenty of other videos. You might find something that you do like. But if you didn't like this one, let me know why. I mean, trying to make the channel better. But as always, torque this tight, and y'all have a great day.